Good morning, children. This is Information Technology for class 11 and the subject code is 802. This is your textbook IT Tools. Before we move on to this session, let us have a recap of what you have learned in the previous session. Network types, local area network, metropolitan area network, wide area network, internet working devices such as repeater, hub, bridge, switch and router have been taught to you. I would like to recollect the knowledge that you have acquired learning LAN. You are by now you are quite aware that LAN stands for local area network, which will cover a geographical area up to 1 kilometer, and MAN stands for metropolitan area network, which will cover a geographical area of up to 50 kilometers, and wide area network, in short it is called as WAN, which will cover a geographical area about 1000 kilometers. And you are quite aware that WAN is managed by several organizations. It cannot be managed by one single person or a single company. It is managed by several organizations. And repeater is used to boost the signal of the network as it regenerates and amplifies the digital signal. And hub is an unintelligent network, as you are quite aware that data is sent to all the nodes whether they like it or not. And bridge, as you know, it connects two or more LAN together. It bridges the gaps between two local area network. And switch, as you are quite aware that it connects individual nodes or the individual computers that are connected to the network. And you are quite aware that a gateway connects networks based on different protocol technologies to communicate with each other, but a router will connect networks with same protocol. This is what you have learnt in the earlier class, and I believe this recap session will enable you to recollect what you have read in the earlier classes. Now we will quickly move on to today's session. The contents for today's session is: number 1, internet, electronic mail, in short it is called as email, file transfer, remote login, or it is called as telnet, World Wide Web, in short it is called as WWW, TCP/IP model, application layer in TCP/IP model, the transport layer in TCP/IP model, internet layer in TCP/IP model, and finally the link layer in TCP/IP model. As you are quite aware, we have discussed about network in the previous session. Anyhow, I will recollect your knowledge. A network is a collection of computers and devices connected together via communication devices and transmission media. What is transmission media? It is the cable that is used, and you are quite aware that twisted pair, coaxial and fiber optic cables are used to do the transmission media. A computer network is a communication system that connects two or more computers and their peripheral devices to exchange information and share resources. Sharing resources in the sense you can share printer, you can share scanner, fax, so on and so forth. So this is about network. You can split the word network into two. It is combination of many computers. We will quickly move on to the next slide, children. Definition of internet. The internet is a worldwide collection of networks that links millions of business, government agencies, educational institutions and individuals. Now take that word internet, split it into two. Inter stands for many. Inter means many. International means many countries. Net stands for network. So it is a combination of many network. Hope this is clear to you. We'll move on to the next slide. A wide network of networks, interconnection of WANs. The full form of WAN is wide area networks, form the global internet. It is neither owned by any single individual nor by any single organization. This I have told you in the earlier slide. It has made it possible to exchange information and communicate with remote nodes. Remote node is nothing but that is not closer to you, it is in some other location. One can access the internet using several means such as leased line, dial-up access and wireless connectivity. Leased line is nothing but it is bit costly, where you can take a dedicated line. The speed is more when compared to the dial-up access and wireless connectivity. The machines on the internet are known as hosts. The machine that initiates a request is called client, and the machine that processes a client request is called server. This is very simple, children. Yes, server, take the first letter S, it serves, so it is called as a server. Client will ask for request, so client will ask for request, but a server serves the request. Communication between any two machines on the internet is governed by the universal TCP/IP protocol. We will study this TCP/IP in detail in the next slide. This TCP/IP protocol is nothing but a glue that holds the entire internet together. So TCP/IP is very important. Based on this TCP/IP model only, the present internet model works. A network protocol defines the rules and conventions of communication that must be followed when two devices interact with each other. When two devices interacts with each other, it falls under this client server architecture, and as you are quite aware, client is the one who asks for request and the server is the one who respond to the request. So once the interaction is there, that means the network is in place. It specifies what should be communicated and how and when communication should takes place. So all these things will come under the wide area network. Next we will move on to the email. The email message format consists of these things. One is from, that is in the from you will type your address, that is automatically the mail server will take your mail ID because you have already logged into your Gmail or Yahoo Mail. As soon as you do it, the from address is your address. To address is the address to which the mail is to be sent. It can be your friend or it can be to a company, a formal letter. Okay, and date is when you are going to send it, that date. And subject is the user summary of the message content. What is the topic all about? You will type it in subject. And this is very important. CC stands for carbon copy. For example, if you are going to send mail to 5 friends, You can mark a copy to all 5 by clicking this CC box. CC stands for carbon copy. So it takes a copy and it sends one copy to all the 5 friends. It is nothing but copy of the main mail. And BCC stands for blind carbon copy recipient. The meaning of blind carbon copy is, as I told you, you are going to send one mail to 5 friends. You want first 3 friends to know that you have sent it. If you make friend number 4 and friend number 5 in BCC, the first one, friend 1, friend 2, friend 3, who is kept in carbon copy, won't know that a copy has been sent to friend 4 and 5. I will give you one more example. For example, communication is happening between 2 departments. So what normally they do is, one employee from one department send a copy to another department, and he want his boss to know that such mail has gone to the next department. So he marks the copy of the boss in the BCC. So the boss receives a copy of that mail, but the next department person won't know that the boss of that particular company has already have a copy of this mail. That is the difference between CC and BCC. B stands for blind. So confidential details to companies, managers, CEOs, what normally the workers will do is, they will mark a copy of their confidential details to the higher ups in BCC column. I believe this CC and BCC is very clear to you. Now, there are several applications of internet such as email, file transfer, remote login, and World Wide Web. We will quickly go through this. Electronic mail, you already know, we already discussed about CC and BCC. An email may be a written text and may include multimedia attachment consisting of text, audio, image, or video. Sender of email may send it to one or more indented recipients. Sending and receiving of mails can take place through web-based email application, also called as webmail application. There are many webmails applications that are available. The popular one is Gmail, Windows, Yahoo, and Hotmail. And even you can send mail through these Android phones. Transferring mail over the internet is governed by a set of rules. Set of rules is nothing but the protocol known as email protocol, such as SMTP. SMTP stands for Simple Mail Transfer Protocol. The meaning of Simple Mail Transfer Protocol is, the host will send a mail to the server. So it is the sending part. The host sends a mail to the mail server. So sending is called this SMTP, and POP3 is nothing but the receiving part. Your friend will receive the message from his mail server. That is called the post office protocol. You are sending it through the protocol called SMTP. S stands for sending, but POP is the receiver who receives it from his mail server. So hope this is clear to you. S stands for send, P stands for receive. Here I have given it very clearly. As you can see on the left hand side, a laptop is sending the mail to SMTP server. The server is Gmail. So the address of that SMTP server is smtp.gmail.com. He has sent it through SMTP protocol. Now the recipient email server has a copy of what you have sent. So when the recipient, that is clearly given in the bottom right hand corner, there is one more laptop, your friend's laptop. As and when he opens the mail, he receives it using the POP protocol. So recipient download the email from the mail server. So when he receives it through POP, but when you send it with SMTP protocol. So when you send it, you call it as SMTP. When your friend receives it, it is through POP protocol. Hope this is clear to you. Now this is the file transfer protocol. It is called as FTP. Especially when you create websites, what you normally do is, as you can see, you are the host. You will type the host address, username you will get it from the internet service provider, password also he will give, that is port number also he will give. So on the left hand side, can you see the local site? So Martin is the person who is local, and he has created some website that is in his local site. It is clearly given here. This is his local site. He creates some files, and when he transfer it from this to the remote site, it is called as the FTP, where he is transferring the file from his computer to the remote site, which is nothing but the server. As you can see here on the left hand side, this is the file of Martin, and he has successfully transferred the file. See, 17 files and one directory. He has transferred it, 17 files and one directory. Even the size of the files are also given. He has transferred it in, the date is also given. This is the remote site, and on the left hand side is his local site. This is Martin computer, but this is the server computer. As you can see, how many successful transfers have happened, how many failed transfers have happened, how many queued files, how many are yet to go. All these details are clearly given in the FTP server. But you need, very important, the host. The host is, you, as and when you buy a website, based on the space, the cost will differ. They will give you the host ID. You will get the user ID as well, the password to connect to the host, that is the password to connect to the remote or the server, and the port will also be given by the service provider. And as and when you click the quick connect, your system will be connected to the remote server, and on the left hand side, all the files that you have created in C drive or D drive or E drive, you can transfer it to the right hand side, which is the remote site. This is how the file transfer happens. This will happen in places like information IT people. They, when they create websites, when they update sites, they will use this file transfer. Remote login, telnet. Telnet stands for terminal network, and you should understand that this is a command prompt network. That is, you cannot see any image. It is not a GUI platform, meaning it is not a graphical user platform. Any command that has to take place, you have to type it only using the keyboard. So whenever you are using telnet, you have to open the command prompt, which is a black screen, and there, with the help of the keyboard, you will type the commands so that you will connect to the host. It is a client server based application that allows the user working on one system to access a remote system. So from one system you can access the remote system. For initiating remote login, the user client should specify the address of the remote system and should authenticate himself or herself using the username and password mechanism. This you already know. You need to have the remote system's login ID, password, only then you will be able to connect it. Only then you are an authorized person to access the files that are kept in the server. On successful login, the client can access the remote system. Telnet service is often used for accessing data on the remote host or executing on the server the application installed on it. So it is very clear. What you have to learn in Telnet is, it is a black screen, it is a command prompt. You will not find any images, you will not find any folder. As in window, you double click, you right click, create folder, all these things are not possible here. Any command that has to happen, it will happen only through the keyboard, and commands are typed only through the keyboard. Only then you will be able to connect to the server. To connect to the server, you should be an you should have the login ID and password. Only then you will be authorized to get into that particular server. Now Telnet, as I told you, it is a command line tool, no graphical user interface, all commands are sent by the keyboard. What are the programs? You can run program, you can create folder, you can delete files, all these things can happen, and I have clearly given you it can happen only through the keyboard. And as you can see, it is not a graphical user interface, it is a command line prompt where you can only see a black screen, and by typing the commands through the keyboard you will be able to do all these tasks. World Wide Web, this you already know. Here the important topic is the hypertext transfer protocol. How the hypertext transfer protocol is performed, I shall give it here. This we have already discussed in previous session. As you can clearly see, the request. Who is the request? The client is the request. How he is requesting? Through the browser. Browser, what is the example of the browser? As we can see, Chrome, Mozilla Firefox, Internet Explorer, Opera, these are some of the famous browsers that are available in the market. So through that, the client is making a request, and the internet TCP IP, through that the request is going to the server. The server is one who serves the request and get back the result to the client. Let me give you a real-time example. You open the browser google.com, and if you want to know the meaning of an English word, you type it and you ask for meaning, and immediately the request from your side through the internet will go to the Google server. Server collects the information from the server, and then it will bring back the result to you. This is the hypertext transfer protocol. And what kind of resources? The resources can be a web page, it can be a graphics file, or it can be a audio file. The server responds by sending the resource. Resource is nothing but a file to the client, and finally after you finish your thing, you can close the connection. This is very important. It is called hypertext transfer protocol. How this client is communicating with the server is given very clearly using this HTTP. Now we will move on to the TCP IP model, but the earlier model that was used is OSI model. This OSI model full form is Open System Interconnection, and it is developed by ISO, International Standards Organization. So they developed this OSI model, and as you can see, the first top three, that is application layer, presentation layer and session layer, all three is now called as application layer in the TCP IP model. Now the latest networking model is TCP IP model, which you are going to learn now. So here on the left hand side, OSI model have 7 layers, but the top three layer is transformed to application layer in TCP IP model. Now, what is the role of application layer in OSI model? The first and foremost thing in application layer is the human machine interface. What is meant by the human machine interface? For example, if I want to get information from the internet, I must open the browser. So when I open the browser, that is the communication that is happening between me and the machine. So the first step that I should do is I should open the browser. So browser communication is taken care by that application layer. And what is presentation layer? Now as I open my browser, I typed gmail.com. I want to access my mail, something like that. So immediately what it will ask is, it will ask for the user ID and password. So when I type the user ID and password, the user ID and password is encrypted. What is the meaning of encryption? The next person who is sitting close to me should not be knowing my user ID and password. So immediately what happens is, the next layer, presentation layer, will encrypt the details of the login ID and password, and then finally when it reaches the server, it is decryption. It do the decryption meaning it will be revealed, it will open to that server how you have typed on the screen, and immediately the cross checking will happen, and similarly that site will be opened. Now what is the meaning of representation of data format? Representation of data format is, it will let me give you a real life example. Say for example, you have a bank account and you want to transfer 5,000 rupees from your bank account to your friend's bank account. So what normally you will do is, you will open a browser can be Mozilla Firefox or Google Chrome or Internet Explorer. You open it, you type the bank's website address. So when you type the bank's website address, the home page of the bank will get opened. There you can see the user ID and password, because you are going to do a fund transfer, so you have to access that site. So you type your user ID and password. When you type the user ID and password, it gets encrypted, and after you finish typing the user ID and password, when you click on enter, these details will be taken to the server. The server decrypt your user ID and password. It checks the server whether it is correct, and after it is validated, you will get a response that you have logged into your account, or maybe it will send you an OTP for cross checking. So OTP is a text format. Okay, so this representation of data format may be a text, or it may be an image also. It may ask you to select a particular image, or it may ask you to click on particular color. So these are representation of data format is nothing but human understandable form of data. It can be a text, it can be an image, it can be a color, so on and so forth. So, and finally, what does this session layer does? Session layer establish, maintain and terminate the session. For example, you have logged into your bank account, you sit idle for 10 minutes, You do not do any action, you are not moving your mouse, you are not typing anything, you are leaving it like that. And what happens is, finally after some time, the session is timed out. It will ask you to again type the user ID and password. So these are the important layers in this TCP/IP. So the application layer takes care of the human machine interface, which is nothing but the browser. The presentation layer takes care of the logging in and logging out, and the session layer will take care of the login time, whether you are an authorized person and what is the total number of duration that you have logged in, whether you are an active user. All these things will be taken care by the session layer. Now first layer of TCP/IP, application layer, is clearly taught to you, and with a real life example of fund transferring through this layer. We will move on to the next layer in the next slide. Now here you can clearly see the TCP/IP model. I have given you the application layer, which has the web browsers. The first one is the Chrome, the second one is Mozilla Firefox, third one is the Internet Explorer, and fourth one is Opera. You open that browser. So, and as and when you open the browser, example is you want to open SBI bank login. So you will type that in your web address of that browser, https://sbi.co.in. As soon as you type it, the page will get open. Now that address is called as the specific address. So this TCP/IP application layer, specific address is used. As you can see on top, https://sbi.co.in is the address, which is called as the specific address. Now a message is created. Now that message, as you can see on the left hand side in the application layer, the same color combination is given. The message is created, and when it move on to the next layer, the message is divided into segment. It will not go as the whole, but it will be going as bits and pieces. So the whole message is divided into segment when it passes the transport layer. The transport layer, port address is used. So as you can see, there are 4 layers, the same address. The first application layer using the specific address, so that same address won't be used by the transport layer. So transport layer uses the port address. The port address is, the size of the port address is 16 bits. Now the transport layer, what it takes care of is, there is a TCP, which is transmission control protocol. Say for example, you open all 4 browsers, you are using the Microsoft Chrome. In that, you open that SBI bank account, you are transferring it, you are successfully logging into it, you have given the user ID and password, you have logged in, and you have typed in your friend's account number, and you have successfully transferred it. But communication must come in the same port address. If the communication is going to come from a different bank, that is ruled out. So as you have opened this SBI bank account in the Mozilla, in the Google Chrome, the same confirmation message must come through the same browser, and that is taken care by the port address. So here the only thing what you have to look into is, on the left hand side, how the message is divided. The message, when it reaches the transport layer, it is divided into segment. That is point number 1. And what is the address that the transport layer is used? The address that the transport layer is used is the port address. And from the transport layer, the segment is divided into packets. Now again the segment is divided into packets, and now you are in the internet layer. In the internet layer, IP address is used. As you can see, the device that is kept in the internet layer is the router. It routes the client IP address and the server IP address. Both client and server will have different address, so it routes that, and the packets from the internet layer will move on to the next layer, which is called as the link layer, where the packets is further divided into frames. And in link layer, MAC address is used. We will know, now I will teach you what is MAC address in the next slide, but make sure the link layer will use the devices such as switch and bridge. You know the difference between switch and bridge. In the previous session itself, I have given you a clear understanding of this switch and bridge. This is called the TCP IP model. I would like to repeat what I taught you about this TCP IP once more time. Now look into this TCP IP model. The first layer, topmost layer, is the application layer. Otherwise it is called as the browser layer, where you open the browser, SBI bank browser. It is called as the specific address, and that specific address in the presentation layer and the session layer. The presentation layer will take care of the login ID. You will log into using your login name, and you will type your password. It gets into that, and using a proper session timing you will do your work, and that message in the application layer will move on to the next layer, which is the transport layer. Message is divided into segments in the transport layer. The transport layer is making use of the port address. The next layer, from the transport layer, the segment is divided into packets, and the internet layer is using the IP address. In the internet layer, router routes the IP address of the client and the server, so communication can happen between the client and the server. Now the packets from the internet layer will move on to the link layer. How it is divided? It is divided as frames, and link layer is using the MAC address, and the devices that are used for networking is the switch and the bridge. Hope this recap will be very helpful to understand these concepts. Now we will move on to the MAC address. What is MAC address? Now when you buy a device, you can see MAC address. So MAC address is again a unique address which is called as media access control. As you can see, that is the television. Behind the television, the MAC address is given. When you buy an Android phone, even your Android phone will have the MAC address. The manufacturer of that particular device will give a MAC address which will be unique. And even for your computer, laptop, you can check the MAC address by typing in command prompt. You type the command called ipconfig/all. When you type this command, you will see the MAC address. The MAC address is otherwise called as the physical address. So as I have clearly given you, MAC address is the media access address. You here on the right hand side, that is the Android phone. When you check the settings of your Android phone, about phone, you will have the list of your MAC address. Sometimes it is called as the Wi-Fi address as well. It is of 48-bit form. The size of the MAC address is 48 bits. Now TCP IP model, as I have clearly given you, There are four layers: application layer, transport layer, internet layer, and link layer. This is again, it has been taught. Let us go through this. The transmission control protocol or the internet protocol is often called the glue which holds internet and www collection of servers where information is stored together. When we are dealing with the internet, we are essentially dealing with the TCP/IP model. So internet and TCP are inseparable. So internet is equal to TCP/IP model. Based on this model only the internet works. The simple task of sending the data from one place to another through the network requires several subtasks. This subtask is clearly given on the right hand side. That is the application layer, transport layer, internet layer, and link layer. Those are called as the subtasks, such as specifying senders and receivers networks and physical addresses. As you are quite aware, specific address is given, port address is there, IP address is there, MAC address is there. So such as specifying sender and receiver network and physical address, dividing the message into small fragments so that they can be easily transmitted over the internet, taking appropriate measures for error and flow control, and taking necessary action on receiving the message. As I have clearly given you, the message will not be moving as message, it will be divided into segments. The segments are divided into packets. The packets are finally divided into frames. This is how in the networking the data moving is happening. It will not be moved as the full message, it will be moved as bits and pieces in the form of segments, in the form of packets, in the form of frames when they move to different layer. These subtasks or functions are performed by different layers of TCP/IP model. TCP/IP model comprises of four layers: application layer, transport layer, internet layer, and link layer. This is very important. Application layer, human machine interface through browser. That fund transfer real life example I have given you. So application layer and browser are the same. So human machine interface, human understandable layer is application layer. So encryption, decryption, representation of data in the form of text or image or human understandable format is done in this layer. This we have already seen. Establish, maintain, and termination of session is nothing but how long you are in that banking login ID. Message is created at the sender's end at application layer. As you can see on the left hand side in the previous slide, I have clearly given message. When it move on to the next one, it is transformed, it is divided into segment, and to the next layer it is divided into packet, and the final layer it is divided into frame. That is how that message is traveled in different layers. At the receiving end, the message is examined and processed, possibly displayed at the application layer. The meaning of this is the sender is sending the message. So as you know, it is going to be divided into segments, packets, and frames. But when it finally reaches the recipient will be able to read exactly the same message what you have sent it in the application layer. So sent and received will be 100% the same, there won't be any deviation. This is what is all about. In the application layer, specific address is used. For example, that SBI website address I have clearly given you. So the address which is used in application layer is the specific address. Children, I have clearly given you in red marking. In application layer, it is going to be the message number one, and what kind of address? It is the specific address. And finally, several protocols such as HTTP, hypertext transfer protocol, which we have seen. SMTP is nothing but the simple mail transfer protocol, and POP is nothing but the post office protocol, and Telnet we have already discussed. It is in the keyboard typing command mode where you can remote access your server operate on this layer. So here what you have to look into is two things which is very important. One is the message, and number two, the address is specific address. We'll move on to the transport layer. The red markings are very important. The message, where is the message? The message is from the application layer. So when it is getting into the transport layer, the message is divided into segment in the transport layer. That is number one. In the transport layer, port address is used. So transport layer uses the port address, but application layer uses the specific address. If you could remember that SPI website address have been given in transport layer, but in the application layer, but in transport layer we are making use of the port address. The size of the port address is 16 bits. Mainly two end-to-end protocol operate at this layer, namely TCP and UDP. TCP is very important because it is reliable, connection oriented protocol, but UDP is unreliable, it is connectionless protocol. We will see TCP in detail in the next slide. Here, as you can see, the communication between two computers need to be good and reliable to guarantee that the data is received correctly. So TCP will establish this connection between the two computers, and when a person is reading a web page on the host, that is on the left hand side, when he opens that web page, when he sends it also, it will be delivered to the recipient in the same order. It will not be a tilted one, it will not be a distorted one. So a copy of a web page which is seen on the left hand side computer, same thing with 100% clarity will move on to the right hand side computer. That is how the connection is established in TCP. And similarly, when you are sending a file from the left hand side computer to the right hand side computer, and when the right hand side computer is downloading it, it will be complete and it will be all the same, with the same file size and with the same clarity as and when you compare the two systems. So TCP is very important, where it establishes the connection and it authenticates. Authentication is very important because the left hand person will get a confirmation message that the web page what he has received on the other side is good, and the file that he has sent to the right hand side computer is also good. So the acknowledgement is very important. That is the advantage of TCP. But in UDP, that acknowledgement will not be received, and UDP will not guarantee that whatever message or web page or downloading that has sent to the next person has been received or not. In UDP, only the sender sends. He will not know whether the next person has received it or not. This is the difference between TCP and UDP. Now we will move on to the internet layer. The next layer of transport layer is the internet layer. The segments from the transport layer is divided into packets in the internet layer. In internet layer, IP address is used. If you could remember, in application layer, specific address is used. In transport layer, port address is used, but in the internet layer, the IP address is used. That is the difference distinguished between these three layers. The size of the IP address is 32 bits, and at the receiving layer, message is reassembled in the correct order, because as you know, the message is not going to be delivered fully. It is going to be converted as segments, and the segments are converted as packets, and the packets are converted as frames. So all these things have to be reassembled in the correct order. Now that part is taken care of by the internet layer. And router is used as a device in the internet layer. As you are quite aware, here in the internet layer, the router is used. We will quickly move on to the link layer, that is the final layer, and we will see what kind of device is used in the link layer. Now this is the final layer, and the packets from the internet layer is divided into frames in the link layer. So finally, when it reaches the link layer, which is the bottom layer, it is the message from the application layer has finally come to this link layer in the form of frames. Now, what does this link layer does? It does the work of error-free data transfer, that is from the application layer, whether all the packets, all the frames are received without any error, without any damage, is controlled by this link layer. Switch and bridge are the used devices. If you could recollect, the internet layer was using the router as the device, but in link layer, switch and bridge are used as the device. In the link layer, MAC address or physical address is used. So for different layers, the addressing is also different. We have already I have already discussed about this MAC address in the previous slide, and finally the size of the MAC address is 48 bits. So what is the most important in TCP IP is, you can see this picture. This picture has the 4 layers. In the application layer, it is the message. When it comes to the transport layer, the message is divided into segment. When it reaches the internet layer, the segment is divided into packet. When it finally reaches the link layer, the packet is divided into frames. This is number 1. Number 2, what is the address used in the application layer? The address used in the application layer is the specific address. If you would remember the SBI website, I have clearly given you, that is the specific address which is in application layer. What is the address that is used in transport layer? Yes, the transport layer uses the port address. And what is the address that is used in internet layer? The internet layer is using the IP address. And finally, what is the address that is used in link layer? It is the MAC address that is used in the link layer. And you should also understand the port address is 16-bit size and IP address is 32 bits size and MAC address is 48 bits size. Hope this TCP IP model is very clear to you. We have come to the end of this session and I shall meet you in next class. Thank you, children.